Imagine for a moment that there is an invisible switch inside your body, a silent mechanism that operates completely independently of how well you've taken care of yourself, how much kale you've eaten, how many marathons you've run, or how many vitamins you've religiously taken over the last 2 decades. No one talks about this. Absolutely no one warns you with the necessary clarity, but modern science, after analyzing thousands of MRI scans and clinical records from the United States, Europe, and Asia, has discovered a pattern so precise it is almost unsettling in its accuracy. The exact moment you cross the threshold of 75 years, 5 specific biological changes are triggered. They are non-negotiable. They happen to every single person, without exception. They don't arrive with a bang or sudden pain. No, they infiltrate like silent thieves in the night, executing a genetic program that has been dormant inside you since birth. And what is truly alarming, what I want you to really understand today, is that one of these processes begins to alter the structure of your brain 3 to 4 years before you feel even the slightest symptom. So, when you finally notice something is wrong, the process has already been underway for years. That is why it is vital that you stay with me until the very last second of this talk, because today we are not just going to uncover these 5 hidden changes, but drawing from my experience as a specialist in this field, I'm going to give you the exact map so that you don't have to fear these biological switches, but instead learn to master them. The information you are about to receive today has the power to radically change not just your future, but the quality of life of your parents or grandparents. Welcome to Wise Sexuality. Prepare yourself, because we are going to dive into the deepest depths of your own biology. It is fascinating and at the same time terrifying how little we know about our own instruction manual when we age. We tend to think of aging as wrinkles on the skin or gray hair, but the real drama, the real action, takes place in the dark, in the deep circuits of your physiology. Let's start by unmasking the first universal change, one that almost everyone misunderstands and that generates unnecessary anxiety. If you are over 75 and find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, you probably tell yourself, "Well, it's normal, I'm getting old, I need less sleep." Let me tell you with total medical clarity, that is a dangerous myth. Science shows us a completely different picture. Your body needs exactly the same amount of sleep as when you were 30, but the architecture of your brain is literally being rewritten. Researchers at the Sleep Research Society have discovered that deep sleep, that critical phase where your cells repair themselves, where your immune system armors up, and where your memory is consolidated onto the hard drive of your mind, decreases by up to 70% after age 75. Do you understand the magnitude of this? The mechanics workshop that repairs your body every night closes its doors much earlier, or sometimes doesn't even open completely. This isn't psychological. This is hard biology. Added to this is the fact that your pineal gland, that tiny chemical factory in the center of your brain, reduces melatonin production by about 15% every single year. So, even if you feel exhausted and your eyelids are heavy, your brain lacks the chemical key to keep the door to sleep locked all night long. Have you wondered why you suddenly wake up completely lucid at 4 a.m. and why eating dinner at 4 p.m. starts to seem like an attractive idea? These aren't just old person quirks. It's that your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your internal master clock, becomes less sensitive to light, causing your circadian rhythm to shift forward by 2 to 3 hours. But here is the point I see constantly in my practice, and that causes silent suffering. Nocturnal awakening. An average 75-year-old person experiences between 15 and 20 micro-awakenings every night. And this is biologically normal at this age. The fatal error most people make is trying to force sleep, fighting against the pillow, trying to sleep like they did when they were 40. That is like asking your heart to beat with the rhythm of a teenager. It won't happen, and you will only generate cortisol, the stress hormone, which will keep you even more awake. So, what is the smart strategy here? Stop fighting your biology. Adopt what historians and doctors call segmented sleep. Before electricity, It was normal to sleep for 4 hours, be awake for 2 hours in a state of calm, and then go back to sleep. If you wake up, don't panic. Use it as a regenerative pause. Read something light, meditate, breathe. And a crucial piece of data: use temperature to your advantage. Your aging brain loses the ability to lower the body temperature necessary for deep sleep. Help it by keeping your bedroom cool, between 60 and 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. This isn't a comfort tip. It's a medical necessity to squeeze the most out of those deep sleep phases you still retain. This leads us, almost inevitably, to the second change, one of the most treacherous because it directly attacks your security system. Your internal thermostat breaks. And I don't mean this metaphorically. Inside your brain is the hypothalamus, the control center that decides when you should sweat or when you should shiver. After age 75, approximately 20% of the temperature-sensitive neurons in that area simply die. The system goes blind. You might be freezing on a warm day or, much more dangerously, suffering from heat stroke without even feeling it. Combine this with the fact that your sweat glands shrink by 40% and become lazy. Sweat is your natural air conditioning. If it fails, heat accumulates inside your vital organs. This is the medical reason why CDC statistics show that heat stroke hospitalizations in this age group skyrocket by 300%. It's not that it's hotter outside. It's that your alarm system has been disconnected. Simultaneously, your natural insulation thins out. Subcutaneous fat, that protective layer under the skin, decreases by 30%. The cold seeps into your bones much faster. And what worries me most as a specialist is that many people lose the sensation of thirst. Dehydration massively worsens thermal regulation. You can no longer rely on how you feel. You have to use your intellect. Keep your home in a safe range of 68 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit constantly. Drink water on a schedule, not by thirst. And dress in layers, like an onion, to manually compensate for what your body can no longer adjust automatically. It's not about comfort. It's about protecting your organs from thermal stress. Now let's talk about something that many consider taboo or embarrassing, but which is the foundation of your vital energy: your digestion. Have you noticed that foods you used to love now sit heavy or bloat you? It's not that your stomach is in a bad mood. It's that there is a systemic remodeling. Digestion consumes a lot of energy, and the body, at age 75, begins to withdraw resources from there. It starts in the throat. The muscles of the esophagus lose 50% of their coordination. Swallowing becomes slower. The food hesitates before going down. At the same time, you produce 40% less saliva. Saliva isn't just water. It is the first chemical attack to break down food. Without enough saliva, food arrives almost whole in the stomach. And there, it meets another problem: 30% less stomach acid. Many celebrate saying, "Great, goodbye heartburn." But that is a mistake. You need that acid to absorb vitamin B12, iron, calcium, and to kill bacteria that come in with food. If the acid level drops, you open the door to silent malnutrition and intestinal infections. But the most dramatic change happens in the colon. The intestinal villi, those little fingers that absorb nutrients, shrink by 25%. You can eat the most organic and expensive food in the world, but your body will only utilize a fraction of it. And then there is the speed. In a young adult, food takes between 30 and 40 hours to pass through the body. From age 75 onwards, that journey can take over 100 hours. The intestine becomes sluggish, it absorbs too much water from waste, and constipation becomes chronic. So what do? We change tactics. Instead of 3 large meals that collapse your system like a traffic jam during rush hour, have 5 small meals. And here is a golden tip I give to all my patients. Chew. But really chew. If your stomach has less acid and you have less saliva, your teeth have to do the dirty work. Chew every bite 30 times. It sounds tedious, but it enormously relieves the burden on your digestive system. Consider digestive enzyme supplements and consume fermented foods like kefir or sauerkraut to support your microbiome. It's about making the job easier for a system that is tired. Let's move on to a point that is underestimated until a tragedy occurs: balance. And I'm not talking about being a little dizzy. I'm talking about what in medicine we call the triple threat to stability. Your balance depends on 3 partners working together: the inner ear, vision, and the sensors in your muscles and joints, proprioception. At age 75, all 3 systems start to fail simultaneously. In the inner ear, you lose 40% of the hair cells that tell your brain where up and down is. Your eyes lose contrast sensitivity and depth perception. A step or the edge of a rug becomes invisible. But the most serious issue is the loss of proprioception. These are sensors in your ankles and knees that tell you where your foot is without you having to look at it. These sensors diminish by 50%. You take a step and, for milliseconds, your brain isn't sure if the foot has touched solid ground. And here comes the critical factor. Your brain processes these signals 70% slower. If you stumble, your brain takes too long to calculate the recovery maneuver. If you add to that ankles that have lost 40% of their strength, a fall is almost inevitable. But there is good news. This can be trained. Tai Chi has proven to be almost miraculous because it trains precisely that slow, conscious weight transfer. Do dual task training. Stand on one foot, near a chair for safety, and count backwards from 100 subtracting by 3s. This forces your brain to automate balance again. And please, make your home a safe place. Good lighting isn't decoration. It is a medical necessity to support your eyes. And use firm shoes with rigid soles. At this age, shoes aren't fashion. They are medical devices anchoring you to the earth. The last point, and perhaps the one that most impacts your independence, is muscle loss, sarcopenia. But listen closely, after age 75, this stops being a normal process and becomes a biological landslide. You don't lose muscle just because you don't move. You lose it because the repair mechanisms shut down. Satellite cells, the stem cells of your muscles, decrease by 70%. If you make an effort, the muscle doesn't repair itself the same way anymore. The fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones you need to react if you're going to fall, are the first to die. At the same time, your body reduces growth hormone by 80% and systemic inflammation increases. You are in a constant state of catabolism, of breakdown. The mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, work 30% less efficiently. That explains that leaden fatigue you sometimes feel for no apparent reason. But don't throw in the towel yet. The solution lies in nutritional engineering. Your body develops what we call anabolic resistance. It no longer reacts well to protein. Therefore, paradoxically, you need to eat more protein than a young person, not less. You need to aim for 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. And the key is distribution. You must consume at least 30 grams of protein in each meal to flip the switch of muscle construction. And you need leucine, an amino acid that acts as the ignition key. Without enough leucine, the engine doesn't start. Train strength, yes, but give your body more time. Instead of 48 hours of rest, at 75 you need about 72 hours for the tissue to truly recover. Look, aging isn't a system error. It is simply a different operating system. If you understand these 5 biological switches, sleep, temperature, digestion, balance, and muscles, fear disappears. You stop fighting against your body and start collaborating with it. You become the manager of your own biology. Knowledge here is literally power. The power to preserve your independence, your dignity, and your strength. I sincerely hope this deep journey into your physiology has opened your eyes. My mission here at Wise Sexuality is not just to give you data, but to hand you the tools for a full and conscious life. If you have seen yourself reflected in any of these points, or if you have parents or grandparents this is happening to, please write to me in the comments. I want to know, which of these 5 changes worries you the most, or which have you noticed the most? Which one would you like us to dive deeper into with more medical strategies in the next video? Your experiences and questions are the engine of this channel. And if this deep analysis has been useful to you today, do me a small favor that means a lot. Subscribe to the channel and hit like on the video. That helps us enormously to carry this vital knowledge to thousands more people who, right now, might be feeling lost in the face of these changes. Stay curious, stay attentive to your body, and above all, live wisely. See you in the next video.